I always found it peculiar that her name was Dolores. It means great sorrow, but the life she built, she is the impetus for waves of great joy, light beyond her petite reach. But now, I understand. A force that's strong and bright, in its passing, could only be met with great sorrow.
Matriarch, and bless us with all the food that we are. Are you going to ask me a question?
No, just say Dolores Bosco is.
Oh, okay.
Was.
Are we ready? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Ugh. Doggone it. Okay, film me.
Our piece of the dream.
Nah. Nope. Hello. Now is there a way I could pause this?
Okay. So, who is Dolores Bosco?
My great-grandma.
She's one of the originals.
She's our great-grandmother on our mom's side.
She's my grandma.
Dolores Bosco is my grandmother.
Here's my grandmother.
With my grandmother.
She's my grandma.
My grandma. She was my grandma.
My mom's mom.
My mom.
The youngest of Dolores Bosco.
Dolores Bosco is my mom.
Fifth child of Damaso and Dolores. And the first of my siblings to be born in the United States.
Dolores Bosco is the 5 Freeway, Regent Drive.
Growing up, my brothers and my sister, we were fortunate enough to live with Grandma and Grandpa.
Our family was living in the Regent house, the Bosco house.
My memories of growing up in this house.
When we grew up with Grandma, we lived in the same house.
I've lived here for a lot of years.
Everyone, the whole family in the same house.
This is home to me.
We used to live together. I'm sure everybody lived in that Regent house at some point.
She's the queen. She's the queen of our family.
She's our matriarch.
I know I wouldn't be here. She's the one who started it all.
Kept the family in line. She was a caretaker.
She is my savior. She was my mentor. She was my teacher.
She was a great person. How is she to me, or who is she to me? She was my life coach.
My grandfather's wife.
Dolores Bosco was my mother-in-law.
And my father's mother.
Our Lola.
And my grandmother.
My great-grandmother.
And my brother's grandmother.
Was my grandmother, is my grandmother.
And my cousin's grandmother.
My Grandma Bosco. My Grandma D.
Grandma D.
Hello, I am DJ Bosco, and I am the eldest son of the eldest son of the eldest son. And that would make Dolores Bosco my great-grandmother.
Wife, mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother. But to me, she'll always be Grandmama. And to me, she'll always be unconditional love. My fondest memories are in this house, in this room, and sitting in this chair. I love you, Grandma.
I'd say she was the backbone of our family.
Everyone always said I looked like her. I mean, walking around Pittsburgh, I couldn't go anywhere without someone saying, "You must be Dolores' grandson." Which is cool, but she's my grandma and I'm a boy.
There's an image that I always, it's just like a little side thing. It's just, I always remember her nails being painted like in this dark red color on both sides, and then in the middle is like a white point. I don't know what you call it, but I remember her nails are always done.
She had this really strong pinch. She loved pinching.
She did not have a bad bone in her body at all.
Carolyn Drive, our house, was kind of the gathering place for my friends and my brother Danny's friends.
New Year's 1970. My mom and dad went off to San Francisco for a New Year's party and told me not to have a party. When my mom came home, she discovered we had a party. There was drunk people laying all over the hallway. She just stepped over them. We had throw up in the bedrooms. And instead of mom yelling, she started cooking for us. And I remember everybody, always calling it Mom Bosco, Mom Bosco. So, and that is my fondest memory of her.
Well, I wouldn't really say the fondest. It kind of sticks out in my mind is the time when I asked Auntie Pinky's hand in marriage. Boy, did I get grilled.
Groom mother dance at my wedding, which almost didn't happen. They were all coming from Virginia up for the rehearsal and the rehearsal dinner. This was the day that Mom was supposed to meet up with Mary Grace's parents for the first time. What happened was they were in an auto accident that was pretty bad, although they weren't saying it wasn't that bad. They didn't even say it was an auto accident at the beginning, but they finally made it. It was about sometime after midnight. Mom came in and she had bruises all along her face. She was sore, but she made it through the wedding. She made it through the things she had to do there, and she made it through the dance, which made me very happy. I couldn't go in by myself. I had to bury my face into my mom's stomach to let the doctor give me a shot in the arm. Oh.
And Pussy was screaming and crying, and Mom comes running in, and she grabs Christopher, runs out of the room, and they were inseparable ever since. I thought that was just so cute. Because at first she didn't want to hold him, and he's, oh, he's so tiny, oh, he's so tiny. But then after that, they're inseparable.
We were all messing around, roughhousing in the front room, using sock and boppers, the blow-up, like punching gloves, the cushions, the pillows, and we were just going at it. We were whipping those things around. She came flying out of the kitchen. She was probably making something to eat. And she comes flying out of the kitchen, pulls off her slipper, and just starts trying to hit everybody that was part of the fight. One, she missed her hits, almost every single hit she took. Plus, she was telling us not to hit each other while she was trying to hit us. And she was always trying to make sure that everybody was okay.
Hi guys, excuse the costume I'm at Fanime, but what Grandma means to me is love, strength, family. She's the glue who brought us together.
That started all of the family traditions and that everybody has kept going for generations. To me, she's grandma. I didn't really have grandparents, so coming into the family, it was nice to have a grandma.
Grandma gave me the family that I wouldn't have otherwise. I have my mom and dad, my birth parents, and I have my grandparents, but Uncle Duke, right, my dad, gave me my grandma and all my cousins and all the family and the closeness that I wouldn't have otherwise.
I met Grandma and Grandpa at the same time 9 years ago, and the first thing Grandpa says when he sees me, and he goes, "Is this the Persian?" And Grandma was sitting right next to him, and she looks at me and she goes, yeah, she's the Persian. I can see it.
My fondest memory of her was when I was just in the family not too long, and I saw her running and jumping and having fun and rolling on the ground just laughing, and I said, mothers don't do that. My mom didn't do that. I want to be just like her.
Long before I was officially a part of the family, I always felt
welcome in her home, and she was always making sure that I was comfortable and had enough to eat.
No matter how many times she saw me eating one night, she'd always tell me to eat more.
When I would eat like less in front of her, she would say, eat more.
Eat something. Everybody eat something.
Grandma was always speaking Tagalog in the house, and there were two words in Tagalog that I always remember her yelling at me. And the first one was Justine, and the second one was it now. I have no idea what those words mean.
There's only 4 pieces left. She'd say, oh, go ahead and have it. I don't like that kind of pie anyway.
Mom was a great cook. When I asked her how she made her chicken adobo, she'd say, oh, it's easy. You put the chicken in the pot and you wait till it's done.
She always made us chicken soup whenever we felt sick.
She called it arroscaldo.
And then I asked her how she made her arroscaldo, and she said, oh, it's easy. You put the chicken and the rice in the pot and you wait till it's done.
I saw this dish that I thought was beef stroganoff, turned out to be something else that wasn't so good for me to eat. But your mom looked at that dish, and she was so happy I took it that I took more and more and more. And I had a whole plate full of this stuff. And then when we left the table, Barb told me, she says, oh, no, I don't even eat that stuff. And I was just thinking about Mom looking at me with that big smile on her face, and I said, it doesn't really matter.
And when I asked how she made her pot roast, she said, oh, it's easy. You put the meat in the pot and you cook it till it's done. You're a great cook, Mom. I hope my sisters have your recipes.
She taught me wisdom. She taught me kindness. She taught me the importance of family, how to be a good mother. And she taught me how to love unconditionally.
Mom never cursed in English, never had an unkind word about anyone, never gossiped, never judged, hardly complained, took everything in stride.
She taught me how to be everything, how life is, how we should always welcome everyone and not close our doors to anyone.
She was a nurturing, loving, and sweet individual who always welcomed me.
Grandma B opened her house to everybody who needed a home and had an open door policy, and that's something I really admired about her.
She was very generous to anybody who walked through that door.
Regardless how you grow up, what accomplishments you made, she would praise your accomplishments. But if you mess up, she looks beyond that bad and tries to make it a positive situation.
She was sweet, she was kind, she was generous, she was giving.
Generous, she was kind, she was always happy, and she never turned anyone away from her house.
She enjoyed her children, she enjoyed her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren. She loved being surrounded with them.
Especially the women, teaching us how to be a woman and how to love and to be mothers.
She gave to us something that you can't really get anywhere else. She gave us that sense of family and how family should be.
Compassion and openness and forgiveness. She's the person that taught me those things. She is those things.
Are the reason that I have the family values that I do.
When I'd hang around with Grandma, she'd always make me have a smile upon my face.
Just sitting there watching the Food Channel with her, we didn't even have to say anything, it was just to know that I was in her presence was very comforting.
We went to a place, I think it was for her birthday, and she was just being really nice and giving us hugs and kisses and being the best grandmother I could have.
My fondest memory of Grandma B was when I saw her, Selena, and Layla together and she was smiling.
My fondest memory of Grandma B is when she visited us in Arizona and we took a walk together.
When she was able to come visit in Arizona and meet her great-great-granddaughter, Layla.
A couple years ago, Liam was not yet 2. She was over at our house, and Liam wanted to show her one of his toys. It's like a little computer. And I remember thinking at the time that that was the first time that he really engaged her. I mean, he had seen her and been around her, but he hadn't really sort of taken to her. And that was why I recorded it, and I've been watching it a lot the past couple days, just, for nostalgia.
It never really felt like Christmas until we were at Grandma B's house. And her always telling us to be quiet when we were up too late and being loud. But she'd still smile when she'd see us having fun.
Just recently, actually, one of the last times that I saw her, she didn't really know where she was at. She was a bit disoriented. She was forgetting things a lot, and I said, Grandma, do you know where you are? Grandma, are you okay? Do you know where you are? And she said, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm with family, it doesn't matter. I don't care where I'm at, as long as I'm with family.
How many years have you been married now? 65. How many? 65. Is the relationship still going good? Of course. Sex? Sex? Why? How many years marriage now? How many years you been married? 65. 65. Relationship still good? How's the sex life? No good anymore.
What I see, her and Grandpa are like, my base understanding of like what a righteous person ought to be.
One of my fondest memories of Grandma was when she was staying at my parents for a week because she wanted to teach my grandpa a lesson. She would still ask me to drive her back to her place so she can cook dinner for him. And I asked her, I'm like, well, how are you teaching Grandpa a lesson if you're still going to cook dinner for him? And she's all, well, your grandpa still has to eat.
Wake up super early and get dressed up to go to church. And she would be always dressed beautifully, made up, hair done beautifully, nails, everything. And Grandpa would be all dapper in his suit or sports coat, and they looked terrific. And they would sit in the front of the church because they were giving the Eucharist or doing the scripture readings. And I always remember being so proud seeing them sitting in the front that they were my grandparents, and they looked like a royal couple or something. And I was so happy that they were my grandparents and proud to be a Bosco, and Grandma looked so beautiful all the time.
When we were in LA, sometimes my mom needed help, and she would come down and be my chaperone on the set. And so she would come down sometimes and stay with me on the set. Most of the time she would just read in the trailer. And she used to read, she would read these romance novels. She was a voracious romance novel reader. A few times me and the boys would pick up the novels and kind of read them aloud to each other. It's kind of like porn for women. It was crazy. But then again, she has 5 kids. But, yeah.
My mom could put the fear of God in me just by saying 4 small words. Phil American Christmas Party. I see all these kids, playing instruments, playing piano, singing. I remember Clark, he did a pantomime, a lip sync of a Bobby Rydell song. Hey, he's very talented. Me, I got nothing. All I did was scratch my head. I was embarrassed, scared, and I ended up running to my mom and hugging her and burying my face in her stomach and saying, "Don't ever do that again, Mom, please." So the next year, sure enough, she says, "Oh, I signed you up for the talent show." I go, "Mom, I got no talent. What are you doing?" She goes, "Oh, don't worry. We're going to give you a talent you're going to recite." Every day going up to the party day, we rehearsed. The day of the Christmas party, I'm sitting there, you know, all scared, and Duke Bosco, and I get up and start reciting. Get up to the mic, say, "Hey, thank you," and I turn around and leave. And they stopped me, Mrs. Rapalda stopped me and said, no, you got to go back up to the mic and do that again. I ended up doing that same recital till I was, I don't know, 13 or something. Jeez. And I was scared every time I did it. And I hated it. But today, I'm going to do it for my mom. One more time. No reservations. Mom, this is for you. Let me fix my collar here. She always wanted me to go up there and look good, so. All right. Ready? Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 1, the mouse ran down. Hickory dickory dock.
One of the funny things she would say, the Dulce and Pinky were starving her to death as she had a plate full of food right in front of her.
Well, there was this one time that Grandma B took me to McDonald's. Just the two of us. I think I was 11 or 12. Yeah, the two of us getting McDonald's. She was really happy that day. I was happy. And I don't know, it's just a good day.
She had told Pinky that she didn't want to go on, and she wants to die with all her kids around her and see the kids one last time and call the priest for her last rites. And so she did. I mean, I went there Thursday, and she was just laying on the couch, didn't know who I was, kept asking who I was. And she kept, saying, "Who's that with you?" And there was nobody else with us. She was just seeing things. She wasn't eating. Basically, the only thing she was taking in were little ice chips just to keep her hydrated. She didn't want to do dialysis anymore. She didn't want to eat. Basically, she was just wanted to lay down and pass peacefully.
I remember at Good Shepherd, doing communion with Grandpa and Grandma, and being so young, but always trying to drink a lot of the wine. This is the blood of Christ, and I was trying to guzzle it down, and she would take it away from me.
By seeing all the family together, it gave her some life, and she started remembering everybody, who they were on that day, and it gave her a kind of reprieve. And she said she would, would go. She had a doctor's appointment Monday, and she would talk to the doctor. And the doctor said she had no restrictions. He took her off all restrictions, so she was able to eat happily, I guess, for the most part. And she let everybody know that she was on. She had no restrictions. There was no restrictions. She could eat whatever she wants. So, like they said, she loved the family, and being with the family one last time gave her a few more days of quality life.
We were sitting at the dinner table, and we were eating, and I just so happened to burp, and I burped loud, I burped massive, and when I burped, she was like, "Ugh, that's rude, don't do that, that's disgusting, you don't do that while we're eating, just basically let me have it," and after she gave me a lecture about how disgusting burping at the table while having dinner was, like, right after she gave me that lecture, like a half second after that lecture, she burped. And she kept burping. She burped more times than I could count. And I gave her a look like,
She also had odd sayings, and one of them was, "It's just air," and we're just going to leave it at that. It was just air.
One fond memory I have of Grandma was actually just 2 days before she died. Benji and I were up north, and we were about to leave. And she was sitting in her chair, and she looked over at me. She said, "DJ," and I was surprised. I was, "Oh, she remembers my name. That's awesome." So, "Yes, Grandma." And she said, "I need you to fold this blanket for me. Fold it for me and put it over me." So I folded it up. Took me a couple minutes. "Is this how you want it, Grandma? Is this how you want it, Grandma?" And then she finally said, "Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect." And then like 30 seconds later, she called my grandma, Ida, over, and she said, "DJ didn't fold this correctly. Can you fold this on me and put this on me?" And that's just a really funny, fond, one of my last memories I have of great grandma. And I'm going to miss her. And Grandma, if you're watching this, I love you very much.
She was always the sweetest, always the most loving, and her eyes were always telling a story, even if she wasn't talking. Miss you.
I love her.
We love and miss you, Lola. Because she will always be in my heart.
Love you and we miss you. You've built such a legacy.
I love you, Grandma.
I love you, Grandma.
We love you.
We'll miss you, Grandma B.
I miss you, Grandma.
I miss you, Grandma. And I love you.
We'll miss you, Lola.
We're gonna miss you.
I miss you, Grandma. Already. Say hello to Grandpa for me.
And I'm gonna miss you. I love you.
I love you so much. And we'll see you soon, and say hi to Grandpa. Love you. Nana.
I love you, Grandma. Evelyn.
Rest in peace, sweet Nene. I love you.
Love you, Mom.
Thank you, Mom, for everything. I love you, and I'll miss you very much.
Mom, I love you. We're going to miss you. Thanks for being there.
I will miss her so much.
I love you, Mom. Rest in peace with Daddy.
Hi. I'm Dale, Mom's oldest son. My fondest memory of my mom was when we were children, very young. We used to go on family outings, picnics and such, camping. On one of these camping trips, Mom and I were swimming in a stream, mountain stream, and I don't know what was happening, whether I did something funny or what, but she laughed. And she laughed, differently from whatever I heard her laugh before. Like kind of like a little girl, and something I never heard. She felt like, carefree laughter. Not like Mom's laugh with a careful, But yeah, that the first time that in my mind struck me as she was more than a mom. She was a person. Before that, she was just a mom. Try it. Let's see it.
Cheers to Dolores, our grandma, because without her, we wouldn't be here. Cheers to Dolores, the mother of my grandpa. Cheers, because she's beautiful. Yummy. Yummy too. Blah, blah.
Thank you. That's it. Turn it. Cut.